since I laid my eyes on you, my baby. I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know.
Welcome to A Goddess Life, where we explore life, love, spirituality, and a journey into the sacred and powerful heart of the divine feminine. You are a goddess, and this is your life. Welcome back, beautiful goddesses. We are talking today about the 8-8 portal, the possibilities and potentials, and perhaps some of the weird kind of blockages or disconnects you might be feeling, if you're feeling it. And why not go there? Because anytime we have wonderful things happening, there's usually a journey or a process that we went through to take us there. So Anna and I both agreed that we want to dive into this for this portal. And July really was a masterclass. We talked about that on the last episode. It really was. August is a month of new beginnings. And sometimes I feel like, I know for me during this time frame as well, things that appeared to be endings or friction or misunderstandings or just like talking to a darn wall kind of energies all showed up. And things that were the opposite of what I wanted just suddenly started showing up altogether. Like it was weird. And Anna, you had mentioned it feels like something's blocking you. And as soon as you said that, that's exactly what it feels like. What the hell? I'm going this way. I'm going through this portal. I'm manifesting this reality. And what are these things showing up? Like your internet not working, or somebody showing up and trying to dump a pile of shit on your doorstep or in your house or in your energy. Somebody who is an integral part of a process, but just drops the ball, right? All the shoes fall off. And that happens to all of us, like especially at this time frame. Anytime that you're elevating or moving through a portal or shifting into new beginnings, seeing the limitless potential and possibilities, I intuitively am feeling like it is inevitable that we're going to sense. They're saying if we can turn our eyes, I have serious energy here. I'm hearing specifically to identify you have Sirius A, B, and C all here for the 8-8 portal. They're not separate, but they have certain roles that are identified as separate, maybe have different energies, different paths, different strengths, and different weaknesses. But notice they all come from the mainframe of Sirius, whether it's A, B, or C. They're going to use this as a metaphor. You can perceive it as you are being blocked. This will make you feel frustrated. That actually comes up so that you can feel a core wound that you've experienced where people may have literally, physically, externally blocked you from doing something that you wanted to do. I'm not saying that's not true. That's real. That shit happens all the time. I'll raise my hand to that. But they're saying you can perceive it as somebody blocking you. But when we combine all the energies and we reach for the stars and we draw down the wisdom, and we do not say it's Sirius A, B, or C, but we bring them all together in a beautiful symphony, we begin to discover that if you perceive it as a block or someone blocking you, that they are actually touching a core wound in you where you have felt that you cannot exert your will, or where what you are manifesting is not in alignment with the current construct of the energies you've been engaged with. Are you being blocked, or are you being shown what was blocking you the whole time? Are you being blocked by things not working and things projecting at you? Or is that actually you being shown that all the energies and all the things that need to end for you to step into this new world, that's what that is? Yes, we're going to interfere with your internet. Yes, we're going to step this person into your way. They are all connected with the old frequency you were at. So, yes, you can perceive you are blocked, but in true Sirian wisdom and knowledge, your perception of this and your opening of it, all of you in the collective at this time, is going to liberate you when you simply shift it to, they're not blocking me. They're not my enemy. nothing's trying to stop me. They're trying to show me the energies that were in the way before that I'm rising beyond. Now they're just so obvious and in my face. I might look at it as a test, or I might look at it as something else. But in reality, you're being shown the blockages that were there to begin with at the frequency you were aligned with it. The moment we switch our frequency, the moment we're preparing to move through the threshold of a portal, a door, a new timeline, new choices, new beginnings, you're also going to witness, experience, observe what is ending to prepare you for that. And yes, we're going to be sharing this episode literally on the 8/8 portal, on the Goddess Life podcast, and on YouTube. But we're recording this days ahead of it, right? And we're just tapping into this energy, preparing for a portal. Yes, you're going to be listening to this on the day of the portal, but I'm hearing that's a shift moment for people. And sometimes, oh, Anna, sometimes divinity delivers the information that's needed, not too soon and not too late. Sometimes we deliver it right when you're on the threshold about to take the step. This is because if we had delivered it a month before, it would have lost momentum, and you needed the steam to truly propel you through that portal energy, through that gateway, through that shift in frequency. Some people will experience it the week before. Some people will be able to see they've just spent 5 years being prepared for it. Everybody is different, but they're really wanting to illuminate that it's right on time. Whenever you receive divine information, divine guidance, let's say you download stuff, let's say you feel disconnected at some points in time, what you receive to help you is delivered right on time, not according to what you and I, in our everyday limitations and this stuff, we're like, what the heck is going on? It's not according to that time of what we perceive would be beneficial or the best time or this. It's right on time for the greatest shift for you as a soul and expanded consciousness to ensure that you actually move into that new timeline. You move into that frequency. So these are really interesting messages. And notice, Anna, like, we didn't even get to get into a conversation. It just kind of all came flowing out. And I trust that when that happens. But they're saying even that is right on time, because now the two of you can lean into a beautiful conversation that touches both your souls and is aligned with you and touches all the souls that will listen to this. That is right on time, not according to what you think, not according to what Anna thinks, or even what a viewer thinks is right on time. It's according to the right on time of the divine plan, which is of the greatest benefit and spiritual benefit of all beings that will connect with it. And I say little Aaron, but I don't mean like I'm little and they're big, because they're part of me and I'm part of them. You can't channel it without feeling that energy within you. I'm saying from the standpoint, like, that makes me want to breathe a sigh of relief. Because when things don't work out and things seem to be blocking us, or there's obstacle after obstacle, difficulty after difficulty, and we can't really see a reason why, that's what they're gifting us with. Is the reason you can't see why is because something greater is happening on your behalf and for your benefit. But because you can't perceive it, you are going to think you're being blocked. You're going to think that something's in your way. You're going to think something's trying to stop you from being the best you. But if you can open to this, you get a greater picture. And literally all that was just shared. I don't know about you, Anna, but that I was like, "Ooh, I can breathe. I can breathe now. I can let go. Anything that I feel wasn't working out, I'm hearing the statement, everything is always working out in my favor." That statement is a universal truth. Our belief or our thoughts that it's not working out for us is based in what we think working out is in that particular moment. But if we're to expand out and encompass all three Sirius planets, wisdom, structure, intellect, unconditional love, and alignment of unifying everything, we begin to discover that everything is always working out for you. And all those things that you think aren't working out or really seriously feel like they did not work out are all going to be working out to your benefit 10,000 times better than you expect. But in these moments when we can't see it and we get angry and frustrated, because I know I've had those too recently, at things that, like, why is this energy here? Why is there an obstacle here? Like, what is this friction? I feel like it's not necessary. And the divine is saying, but you're not the only person creating a new reality. You're not the only person part of your new reality. You're not the only person that's part of the reality that you're disconnecting from, or the timeline, or the energy, or the cause and effect. There's all these other people connected to it as well. So take a deep breath. We deliver what is needed right on time for your greatest benefit. And oftentimes you will not see it until well after the fact. So I want to say, for me, feeling some things came up where I was like, this doesn't have to be this difficult. So I don't really understand what's going on. I know that for me, I can sense and see all the players and things, and I know it doesn't have to be this difficult, but it is. And that's because there's multiple people involved, and maybe it does need to be that difficult for them. And this is the dynamic playing out, and that's what balances it out and ultimately liberates all those connected, whether this is consciously perceived or not. How about you? Feeling the same things?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to take a big breath as well because that was so amazing to hear. I was flooded with so much love while you were talking, just having tears in my eyes. I've been questioning myself since I first felt this enormous positive energy towards Lionsgate and haven't taken actions towards it, feeling satisfied with the actions I've taken, and then just feeling these bumps coming up. Why is there blockages here? It shouldn't be because it feels so right, it feels so good. Of course, when I feel into it, I can feel that the bumps are not the same as the types when, oh, you are not supposed to go here, because then it feels painful. Now it was more, I was driving a boat on the ocean and suddenly there were waves.
I love that. Okay, I love that metaphor. Absolutely. I think we all do that. I know there were moments where, like, extreme highs and extreme lows. I'm so glad that that stuff that came through touched you so deeply and brought you relief and love, because that is the point of divine guidance, right? That's the point of channeling. It's what we end up accessing. It's what it's intended for, to help us continue on our journey, not to fix everything, but to help us to continue to grow and expand and give us what we need when we need it. And I'm so glad, and I hope that that touched all of the listeners. Let us know in the comments the way that it touched Anna and the way that it touched me, in just the right way of taking a deep breath and feeling at peace. And something else that you were just saying really stuck out to me too, Anna. The bumps, feeling all the positive energy and then feeling the bumps intuitively. The way that that comes through is when you're filled with positivity, anything that's not in alignment with you going towards trajectory shows up because it's been illuminated by that higher frequency. So high frequency is just like lights. As soon as you shine a brighter light, you're going to see any shadows or more shadows, or a shadow that you didn't see necessarily. It's the same with positivity and negativity. Like, yes, like attracts like. I'm a positive person, I attract positive experiences. That's a universal truth and a quantum energy dynamic, or quantum mechanics universal law, that is true. What's also true is the moment we're in a positive frequency, but we've been shifting, like we're going through the 8-8 portal. 8-8 is the number of the infinite. It's both ends of the spectrum, all rolling as one. They're not on two opposites. They're actually touching each other at the very center point. And the thing that they're saying is, those are not bumps, like as you had described. And it's amazing, Anna. They're pointing out it's amazing that you can discern and identify the difference between a bump of, oh, it's just the energy shifting because there's so much positivity. All the negative energy has to kind of shift and dissolve easily, versus a bump of, like, you're being blocked. You should not go there. It's not for your highest spiritual good. There's something else going on. You need to go this other way. There is a distinct difference between those two, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And They're saying this because they want to speak to you and the listeners who are at that level and have that discernment as a validation for you of the advancement or the advanced awareness that's required to discern that so eloquently and beautifully. We wish to affirm that you're further along than you realize, or perhaps you've given yourself credit for. And that's important because the moment that we are suddenly seeing ourselves like, oh, I guess that does take a lot, you suddenly develop another level of self confidence that easily allows you to turn back to the positivity, thus dissolve that little bump that was there. And that was the whole point. They're saying that the metaphor you gave was perfection because we are all on the ocean of life. And at times it is smooth sailing, at times it is choppy. Notice that what you described was this beautiful, smooth sailing kind of an energy, clear water, going on your way. I'm getting a visual of you on the boat with your hair blowing in the wind behind you and you smiling and the sun beaming on you, knowing exactly where you're going. And then all of a sudden you're like, what? What's going on? A cloud just came over. There's choppy water. I got to move this way. Where did the sun go? That kind of an energy. They're saying that visual and that metaphor that you just so easily rolled off your tongue. You did that so that we could go here. What's happening in that dynamic in the ocean of life? The boat is your vessel, the thing you use to take you from point A to point B, from one timeline to another timeline, to a destination or a goal or a desire or a wish. Hence the boats. Hence why if you have too many people on your boat, it slows your boat down. Hence, if you have somebody who's your right-hand man but wants to be the captain of your boat, creates this friction, you have to say no and say goodbye to the right hand man because you're the captain and it's your boat and you decide who's on it, you decide who's not. What's also happening at this time is people are learning to fix their boats. If my boat's got a leak, that's my vessel to take me from point A to point B, where I am to where I want to go. They're saying that choppy water that you described, which is outside of you, has nothing to do with your vessel or your boat. Notice the distinction here. In the vision of you, it had nothing to do with your vessel or boat. You've already repainted the inside. You've sealed the hull. You've taken off all the barnacles. Maybe you've taken your sails and you've ensured all the stitching is beautiful. You've dipped your ropes into the buckets where you're oiling them, you're cleaning them. Everything is in this pristine condition and you are on your way. This is an external wave or choppiness that you experience in the middle of a crystal clear blue ocean. That speaks to the undercurrent at that section of the pathway to your destination. So it's almost like if I'm going from island A to island B, they're utilizing Sirius as the planets. If I'm going from Sirius A to Sirius B, yes, I'm in my vessel. Yes, I've done my work. Yes, I know where I'm going. I see my pathway. But what also is there is along that pathway from planet A to planet B, or from one island to the other island as you cross the ocean of life, or the ocean of the cosmos, or the ocean of the energy, there's other energies that are already existing there that you're passing through. And it's an undercurrent. So, like the ocean, I think about the depths of it, and they're saying that choppy water that you illuminated there was actually an undercurrent that creates choppy water on the surface. It's like a moving of energy that's happening. So you could perceive it as I'm going along. I know where I'm going. I got my vessel, beautiful clear skies. Oh crap, here is some choppy water that's out of nowhere. And it seems to be like not associated with me. But they're saying the undercurrent is it's only choppy right there because you had a little bit of doubt, you had a little bit of this. And we're just making sure we're resolving it in the undercurrents or the underpinnings of your core frequency. And it's not a big deal. We just continue to move. You'll move right through it when you understand it from this perspective. Everything is working in your favor when you see truly a grander perspective of what is going on, of how we even get to destination B from destination A, and all the different things that can occur depending on you, your energy, your life path, your awareness. all that's ever going to happen is you build more confidence, you figure out even greater ways, you drawing in more magnetization of abundance, more understanding, more power, more form, more presence, more passion, more freedom, more fearlessness. You begin to see that that's all any of this is all ever doing for you. And that changes how you move through it. And one cannot truly perceive those things unless they have an awareness like you, and unless they're willing to move through it like you, and unless they're willing to change the narrative and release like you. Well, I needed to hear all that too.
Oh, I definitely did. This is amazing. Oh, it's touching something deep, deep inside me. I can't articulate where, but it's so soothing. It's so loving. I'm feeling so taken care of just getting these messages. It's amazing.
I feel that way too.
I remembered something. They talk about healing and how you can release trapped emotional pain in your body.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I've been hearing other people do is when you get sort of a sudden pain in your body and you can go into the pain and just listen to what it's trying to say. I've tried it and it just I never got the sort of hand on it. But today, when I put my son to bed, I got this strange, very sharp pain in my right thigh. I just can't explain what I saw, but I went to a different lifetime and I knew I was a partner with another person. And this is a person I've been seeing in my life just out and about.
Mhm.
And I never just understood why they felt familiar because I've never spoken to them. But
Mhm.
I saw this person. We were in a relationship and he died. And just the knowing to be present in that immense love I had in that lifetime, and then the immense sadness and sorrow and grief I had afterwards. I felt the pain travel up my body and out, and I fell asleep afterwards. So there was something, something big there. I think the timing is so potent right now to
Oh,
just
yeah.
go in, be present, and let what needs to be released.
Okay. Wow. 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 Wow, Anna, because that's powerful. And you're not the only one experiencing that. And I do, like, even just me, I can attest that those have been some of my experiences where my body is reacting or showing me something that has been active in my consciousness that's stored in the body that isn't necessarily from this life, but is impacting my current life in my psyche, and it permeates into the body because your body is the last line of defense, sometimes to release it and sometimes to say, hey, stop doing this. Both ends, right? It can go both ways depending on which way you look at it. And that's what I do too. When I have strange things out of nowhere, it's ideal that it's strange and out of nowhere because you don't gloss over it like it's the same thing every day. It's an indicator like, hey, you got to see this and let it go from your consciousness and release it so that you can move through the portal. Now they're saying this. Oh, go back to the ocean. You could perceive yourself in that beautiful boat going on the ocean from destination A to destination B. And you could perceive the waves now as the undercurrent in your psyche and subconsciousness of a past life thing that was replaying even though you didn't have a conscious awareness of what it was coming from. And that was the choppy water. The pain came up to be released, which you leaned into, and then you fell asleep to allow for a spiritual processing that aided you in seeing it and releasing it, because that density in the choppy water represented in another life. You could perceive yourself as the originating first life you lived in a physical body and consciousness on the ocean of the expansion of a soul, let's say over multiple lifetimes. Each little choppy water you hit is a lifetime, and any of the experiences, doubts, traumas that's still being held actively in your consciousness after the fact, that's the processing of it. I don't know how else to articulate it, but it's almost like that came up so perfectly at this time to prepare you to go through the portal, because it doesn't need to come with you. You were ready to process it. You were ready to see it. And now it's ready to be released from the body, and it's no longer stored trauma. Every time we complete a lesson, we release something, we dissolve something, we accept something, it loses its power. The past doesn't have power over you, whether it's conscious or unconscious. When it's no longer active in your consciousness or unconscious, it no longer has power, no longer has weight, and is no longer the thing you're dragging around behind you. You don't even know you're dragging. But I'm also being told, for all of us who have experienced that, the moments that you come to the memory of it is so that you can see how you've been dragging onto it. You can see why you've given pieces and parts of yourself away that are connected to those previous life experiences, the fears, the loss, the grief, the love, the unfairness, the injustices, right here, right now, in this life and in this moment. You can actively dissolve it all. And sometimes we need to have a conscious awareness, even if just for a moment or a memory. Ava's shaking herself off here in the background. Sometimes we need to have that experience to shake it off, and now it's no longer active. I may or may not understand it, but I've moved through it. I can release it, and that pain is gone because it's no longer active. It's no longer stored, and it's just done. It has zero power. And the funny part is, they're saying some of us, you, me, and others in the collective, need to have unconscious patterning that stems from a previous life of a pain, a wound, a trauma that's been active in the collective consciousness. We need to have periods of time where it's unconscious, so that we will re-engage in this life with similar energies that align with the thread, so that we can end it all right here. We can dissolve it all right here through actively having an experience that can be connected or synonymous, or there's like a parallel to it with something that was active in a past life, reholing the self. And it allows it all to be dissolved in this moment. I can't resolve a trauma if I've never experienced it. It's just not part of my journey. And some traumas are not part of my journey in this lifetime. And maybe a different trauma is a part of yours. But know that if you've experienced a trauma, this is not your first rodeo. You've likely been here multiple incarnations and have had previous traumas. That's not a message for everybody just to put a blanket over it. It's just speaking to whoever this resonates for. And I know it resonates for me. I can attest to all of this, utilizing the past to heal my present, and the dynamics and the ways that it shows up. It'll just be sudden. It'll be connected to something. And whatever I was dealing with in this active incarnation life, it's like that and that past like thing all get resolved together, and then it dissolves, and I'm through it, and I've integrated it, and I'm rehold that piece of myself. Like, if this is a portal, these are the processes that we need to not fight against in our internal landscapes, because it is about returning to love. It's about returning to wholeness. It's about returning to all of those beautiful things that are our truest essence and the grander truth of a spiritual experience and the human experience, right? Interesting. It's a portal. You're the portal. Notice that you would never have found any of that outside of you. The portal's inside of you, right? You are the portal. The deeper you go into you, the more you bring up from your unconscious. And you're like, whoa, this is going on. And whoa, what about that past life? And whoa, what about this person's energy I'm sensing and their dynamics with me? When all those things start coming up, it's because you're going deeper into you, which means you have more access into your own consciousness, your own previous incarnations, the cycles that your soul has taken, both the expansions and all the places you've been. You get more and more access to that, which means you're freeing all of that, which brings you all the way back to one, the wholeness, the unity, the beauty, the lightness, the liberation and freedom of oneness. You and I are not separate. I am not separate from myself. Fascinating, isn't it? Anna, I can totally attest. I've had similar experiences, and they've always been prior to portals, or when I've been specifically doing shadow work, or when something ended in my physical life, I would suddenly have all these past life memories and experience show up that had kind of like a similar tone or could be connected, and they would end simultaneously, but I didn't get the awareness of it. Sirius A, B, and C says, go back to the beginning. Notice you receive the downloads or transmissions right on time for the greatest benefit of you. And sometimes it's right when you're at the culmination of endings. Sometimes you receive it when it's at the beginning. Sometimes you receive it midway through. It is always right on time according to the greatest evolution of your soul, not the greatest understanding of your mind or what you can logically ascertain or believe what should be right on time. He says that is the beauty, the perfection, and the mystery of you, of life, of everyone, of consciousness. By divine design, you are all held and supported, and you will receive what you need before you even know you need it. And sometimes that will make you question. Lean in. We don't want to fight against these things. I felt like that just went full circle.
Yeah.
Oh, I love spirit. I love divinity and all the places that we go. That I feel like this right now for this 8/8 portal, I feel like this was a delivery of a giant hug for me, a giant hug for you, Anna, a giant hug for everybody who listens to this. And also notice the 8/8, it's the infinity. I always attune to the 8 as an infinity. And it's infinite. You are infinite. These are moments in time. There are things that are active, and you will perceive it when you need to perceive it. Not before, not after, not too soon, not too late. It will be right on time. So take a deep breath. I'm hearing ladies, take a deep breath. Let's go. Let the divine work it out for you. Let yourself be carried. Allow yourself to step through the portal. Allow yourself to be part of, I'm seeing tube slides, like water slides at the water park, where they have the tubes and you get to slide through it. Let yourself be taken through the portals. Enjoy the ride. Don't fight it. Don't cling because you don't know where it's going. Allow yourself to get in the portal and flow with the water. Allow yourself to be taken on a beautiful, delighted journey, which you can get excited about and experience and hit the side, hit your butt on the bottom where the one thing is sticking out. You know what happens when you go in the water things? You're like, damn, that hurt my butt. Or that corner, I hit the side of it. Or, oh, this part, water got up my nose. If we're talking about water slides as a metaphor, they're saying that's kind of like what portals are. That's what we experience. You're shifting a frequency. You're shifting a timeline. You're stepping into a new reality that you are technically created, and you are the reality. So there's going to be twists and turns and bumps and ups and downs. You can enjoy the ride and just sit back and be like, oh, there's a bump. I'm just going to roll with it. The looser your body is, the easier it can move with the water, because that's what water does. It flows where it is needed as it is needed. It doesn't try and shift the bump in the slide. Instead, it moves with the curves like it ain't no thing. Fascinating. I needed to hear that too. But they're saying that's a portal energy. That's a metaphor that can tangibly show you a portal in a nutshell. It's like a water slide tube, twists and turns and ups and downs and bumps and pushes. And yes, but you're going from point A to point B rather rapidly, and you have to flow with it because you're part of the flow. You were point A and you were point B, and you're all the water in between. They're saying, but the water in this case, we'll call it divinity. Notice that also aligns with the metaphor that Anna brought up, being on the ocean and in your boat and going towards where you want to. They're saying, I'm going to share this from my life on a metaphor about boats. So I used to own a sailboat, and by no means was I a master sailor. But man, did I learn a lot about life itself on a boat, particularly a sailboat, not a motorboat, not a dinghy, like a sailboat. There's a keel right down the middle that keeps the balance. So here I am in this like 24-foot Tanzer sailboat, and you can actually turn a 24-foot sailboat on a dime. I could turn that boat on a dime, like I was taught how to do it, how to practice it. It didn't matter which way the water was going. I'm not changing the water, but I can literally go to the very balance in the front of me, in between the bow and the stern, and I can go right into the center balance, because that's where the boat turns on a dime. It doesn't go forward and shift from the forward process of the bow or the stern, or backwards. It shifts from the center point, the keel, which is what allows it to keep its balance despite the choppy waters, despite the waves, despite the change in the current going from one way, suddenly shifting to another. I could literally turn on a dime. And it's because of the keel that went underneath the boat, underneath the water where you don't see, that allows you to turn on a dime. And that's where you make the pivot from. That's where you find your balance. That's what keeps you balanced. But notice it's the center point of you going down underneath the surface. Sure, you can go in circles forwards, or maybe you can go backwards, backing up the boat with the tiller or the whatever, the circle thing. I had a tiller, obviously, because that's what I'm utilizing. But you could turn that on a dime, and swiftly and rapidly and quickly. And it was such a spiritual experience. God, I miss that boat. And I'm thinking about it. I miss that boat. I miss sleeping on the boat. But I kept the wisdom of it. Absolutely. And that was part of it. That's why I like sailboats. When the wind is going, you put your sails up and you allow the wind to take you. When you're going down the port, that's a portal too, right? The wind can create a portal. It can clear the vessel. It can propel your vessel. It's the same with the water and the water slide. The water is moving. You can fight it, or you can move with it and trust that everything is working out in your favor. And you're literally being picked up, shifted over to this other place. And yeah, there's going to be bumps, and sometimes it's going to be your ego, sometimes it's going to be past life memories, sometimes it's going to be old wounds. But if we're picking you up and taking you from point A to point B, which, side note, yes, the universe is picking you up, but it is you who's already prepared to be picked up in this way. It's not like the universe is just, oh, I'll do it for this person and not for that person. It's an individual process. You only do this when you're ready, when you've prepared, when you've chosen, when you understand. Fascinating. Now I feel like I want to go back into sailing. Listen, Anna, I'll never forget when I say I wasn't just like a sidebar here in the conversation. I love sailing. I don't really like motorboats because they're loud, and sailing, you can sit there in the middle of the lake or the ocean when it's perfectly calm and watch the sunset and put your feet up. And it's such an exquisite and healing experience. Sailing is. It can also be terrifying if it's really windy, there's choppy, there's a storm. It can be terrifying too, but isn't that life? There's these sweet moments, and there's these moments of being terrified depending on what that ocean is doing. That keel, that balance point, to know it's there and to continually come back to there, you can turn on a dime. You can adjust your sails to wherever the wind is blowing so that it's always working in your favor. But if you're always fighting it, or always feeling like the wind shouldn't be going that way, it needs to go this way. Well, now what am I going to do? Because I want to go that way. It's like you're fighting against the natural current of the flow of your life. And that creates those friction energies. And when you're going through a portal or a sudden storm arrives, those are friction energies, but you don't need to be frightened and try and go back or shame yourself or feel like you're doing it wrong. Again, Sirius A, B, and C. And I'm told to involve all three and articulate it for some reason. They're saying, we deliver the information and the knowing and the wisdom as it is appropriate for each individuated soul or a group of people, right on time, not before, not after. It might be right on the portal, might be a day before, might be a week before, it might be a year before. But make no mistake, it will be delivered in the timing that is the greatest benefit to you. This requires you to trust in you so much that you trust in the universe, because the universe can't have your back if you don't have your back. You can't trust the universe if you do not trust you. The universe cannot support you if you're not willing to support you. The universe cannot aid you with divine support, intervention, and lifting you through a portal if you're not willing to be lifted through the portal, if you're not willing to be able to receive the intervention, if you're not willing to receive the universe, well, it makes it difficult for the universe to gift you or help you. And for some people, that's the gateway you're going through on this 8-8 portal. We think it's like the reality, but it's actually us, because we make the reality. We're in the reality. We perceive the reality. So it is always us that's being moved. And they want to be clear. I feel like this was a one-sided conversation, Anna, but I wanted to hear all this guidance. I feel like my soul needed to hear it too. They're just making me feel like everything is right on time. Take a deep breath, relax, be in the presence, and look at the glorious energy of divinity that's rolling through you. That's what matters in this moment. That's your keel on your sailboat. That's what will allow you to pivot and move through any choppy waters, sail smoothly through the calm ones, and find whatever detours you need to get you to where you need to go. Amazing.
Well,
Beautiful souls and listeners, thank you for being here with Anna and I, both as your hosts, but also as beautiful souls on this journey of life and ascension with each other. So thank you for being here. Let us know in the comments how this made you feel, if you felt supported, if you felt like you could take a big sigh of relief, if it helped you to make sense, if it really put you in that right on time energy. Let us know. And of course, we'll see you in the next episode.
Since I lay my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you're low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know when it gets tough. Do you feel the